everyone, it's Darby from rejoiceandcreate.com. Thanks for stopping by today. Well, I was reading comments as I usually do, and one of the comments said, alright, you did these projects with the card bases, but now I have all these extra envelopes, what do I do with them? Actually, she was much nicer about it than but I'm like, I know, right, what do I do with all these extra envelopes? Well, I have some ideas, and actually I have a few ideas, so we'll make a few different videos, so I'll have a series of probably 3 videos once I get everything done. But for the first one, I'd like to take a look at something which is probably as old as YouTube is at this point, and that's the Bagalope. Now, these have been done for a very long time, and I mean, even before I remember doing online crafting or seeing the online craft videos, people were doing Bagalopes. And you can make the Bagalope, which is a bag from an envelope, with any size envelope actually, and I'll show you a few other ones I have. This particular one was made with the standard A2 size envelope, and that was the one that fits a 5.5 by 4 1/4 card. I created this one also with the same size envelope. The only difference was I scored it in a little bit different spot, which made it a little bit wider and not quite as deep. And for this one, I simply punched a hole and put a pre-made tag on there for a party, and you could put the person's name across there as well. This adorable little one I created using an envelope for a 3x3 card, and actually this is one I had left over from a paper pumpkin by Stampin' Up, and I thought it was really cute. What I did is after I scored, I just cut the narrow part, or cut this outside the score lines off on the top, and I used that top as a flap. And on this one I went ahead and put some Velcro on it so you can see what I did. But if it's a one-time use for a little party favor, you could just go ahead and use a glue dot as well. And for this one, I used an envelope that was for an 8.5 by 5.5 inch card, which was a pretty big one. But with a taller and skinny envelope, or perhaps a number 10 business envelope, you can actually create a taller and skinny bag. And how I did this one was I just created it, and I just scored about 2 inches down from the top, and I left the center panel of the back, which would fold over, and then cut the rest of the top away. So I had that one flap, and I used a glue dot on this one so it's closed, but it actually has a single wrap dental chew in here for the dogs for Christmas. So there's quite a few different ideas that you can create with them, and I have one more special one at the end, but let me show you how to make the Bagalope first. Now I have to admit that some of the little bags that we make, you could just start and make a bag if you're using pattern paper. But if you have a whole bunch of envelopes and you want to use them up, this is a really cute way to do it. Alright, so let's get scoring. Okay, so this is Basic Bagalope 101, and because it's been around for so long, you can find lots of tutorials on this one too. So if you want to see some different ideas and what different people make, you know, just search Pinterest, Instagram, or YouTube for Bagalope, and you'll find quite a few wonderful and creative ideas. But the basic premise is this: you're going to seal your envelope, and I'm going to use some Extreme Tombow tape for this. And if you can lick it as well. But one thing you want to do is, depending on how your envelope is made, you want these sides and all these flaps to be sealed well. So because the adhesive that comes with the envelope just goes across there, this would be open. So I wanted to make sure I got tape on there to seal the entire thing well. Okay, so now we have a sealed envelope. And now you're going to cut one side open, whether it's one side open and then you have a Bagalope that stands up like this, or you can actually cut across the top open and you'll have a wider Bagalope. So for this one, I'm going to actually cut at one end. You could also use a decorative border punch, as I did in a few of my examples. Like this one, I used a decorative scallop border punch. Now the key to the Bagalope is you have that top open, and that will be the top of your bag. So you want to score it down both sides and across the bottom at the same dimension. So we're going to, for this one, do 1 inch on each side and the bottom, because that will show you a little special Bagalope I have right at the end. So go ahead and score down each side at 1 inch, and now you want to be firm, but you don't want to push through, because I've done that several times. If you're overly aggressive, you can actually tear the envelope paper. So you want to be firm. You can go over it a couple times if you want to, just to make sure you're scored. And but you want to make sure that you get the scoring through to the back. All right, so if you want to sponge or stamp your Bagalope at this point, you can go ahead and do that. Like for this one, I went ahead and stamped an all over pattern, and actually I did this before I scored it. It was after I sealed it, but before I scored it, I stamped an all over pattern. Or if you want to stamp a focal on your Bagalope, now would be the time to do it, because now you know where the front center of the bag is going to be, which is just between the score lines. All right, so the next step you do is to make sure you fold and burnish the score lines back and forth really well. So we're going to do it one way, and we're going to burnish it well, because it'll give us a nice crisp fold, and the other way. And that will help you assembling your bag. So fold it one way, and give a nice burnish, and then the other way. And again with the bottom. Okay, so here we're burnished well, and we know where all those are. So go ahead and open that up, and what we're going to do is we're going to push in this bottom section, and we're going to try to get it to fold right where those score lines intersect, because if you can do that, then you will have a crisp looking Bagalope. So go ahead and start pushing the center down, and then when you get to the sides over here, you want to push this in, and you want that fold to be right where that corner is, right where those two lines intersect, on the front and on the back, because that will give you the most crisp looking Bagalope. And then you can go ahead and press down that triangle. Okay, again with the other side, we're going to try to get it so we can fold it right on that, right where those score lines meet. Same with the back, we want to fold it right where the score lines meet. And we can burnish that one down too. If you're a little off, I don't think it will matter that much, especially for some of our projects. If it's a gift bag, people will be very interested in what's inside. Or if it's our special project at the end, then they'll be too busy looking at the results. All right, so fold these guys. We'll sharpen these guys on the side, and then push this one in and sharpen that one to the inside. And again with this way. Okay, now what to do with the flaps? You can either glue the flaps down like this, or if you want to, you can glue the flaps up onto the side like this. But I'd go ahead and glue them well. Let me show you an example of both. This one I glued the flaps down. On my dog bone one, I glued the flaps up. As well as my little dinky one. It stood up better when I glued the flaps up on the side like that. Now you can actually store this flap by folding it as a paper bag, and I'm going to show you on this one, it's a little bit bigger. I put the front down and I kind of flattened it out and pinched the sides in, and then as I got towards the bottom, I started rolling that bottom piece up and just folding it over as I was pinching the sides in. And that gives me that fold like a paper bag. And then you can fold it flat, so you can make a bunch of these and have them ready for, oh, say like Christmas, like this one. But as I was looking through videos for ideas, I learned something that I did not know, and I went to find it again so I could give the person credit, and unfortunately I couldn't find the video again where this was said. But there's a way that you can go ahead and create these without glue and also fold them flat so you can store them, make them ahead of time, and then store them. So what you want to do is you want to fold your points in, and probably about 3/8 of an inch or so out, go ahead and make a dot right where the fold of the flap goes by. Same on this side. Okay, so now fold it back flat again, and take a pair of scissors, here there, and just cut straight up to that dot that you made. Okay, and cut straight up to the dot that you made. All right, so now when you remake your bag, let's go ahead and make that, fold our bag back into bag shape. What you can do is just go ahead and take that tip and tuck it into that slot. Okay, so now it's tucked in. So you can actually make these ahead of time and then just tuck them in at the last minute if you want to do something for a party. And what I had in mind to do for a party was to actually make a Bagalope luminary. And here's one example of one of my luminaries. And it was made exactly the same way as this bag, and I have it folded and tucked in at the bottom. And you can just make them all ahead of time and store them flat, and then when you want to set up for your evening summer party, or perhaps your mantle at Christmas time, or perhaps an elegant dinner, or even a Halloween party, you can create these little Bagalope luminaries ahead of time and store them flat so you have them, or store them flat from year to year so you can keep them as well without them getting crunched up too much. In the end, I'll show you a video too of them actually glowing. Now you'll notice that this one's just a little bit wider. It's because I had the ampersand and it was a little bit wider and I didn't want it hanging off quite so much. So I actually scored this one at 7/8 of an inch instead of a 1 inch from each side. But you can adjust it to whatever you want to fit. And you can use whatever envelope size you want as well. So let me bring my other ones back. All right, so some of the ways I closed them was actually I used a ribbon loop with just a medallion that I had glued the ribbon into, and you can actually just slide that up and down so you can take it off if you want to. On this one I used a Velcro dot, but you could also just use a glue dot if it's a one-time party treat. On this one I punched holes and threaded some ribbon through. And on this one I punched one hole, and actually in the middle of the ribbon I tied a very loose fat knot that wouldn't pull through, and then pulled the two legs through and created a bow that way. And on this one, as I scored down 2 inches and I cut away all the extra, I matted this with pattern paper that was just slightly smaller for my little flap. And I've actually got this one glued down with a glue dot as well. So I hope you found this idea useful if you have a bunch of extra envelopes hanging around. I have 2 more videos coming up with some different ideas as well for you to use them up. If you like the video, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to be notified of new videos as I post them. For more information on this project and other projects I've done, please go to rejoiceandcreate.com. And as always, until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!